Behind the cape. We got some other news before we get into obviously our DC and Marvel at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
First thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that Super Mario Brothers movie has passed
Smashing.
700 million worldwide already.
Smashing.
Sheesh.
Like, doing numbers.
Yeah,
Shout
no,
out
it's
to
taking
them.
everything out.
Shout out to them. I think I'm gonna go take my son to see it this weekend. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't even really keen to see it originally. Like, I didn't really care.
I mean, it's doing numbers like that. It's worth a peek. I knew I would watch it eventually. I wasn't sure if I'd go see it in theaters or not, but I think my son wants to go see it. So
yeah, nah, I don't blame him. Now I kind of want to see what the hype is about.
Mm-hmm.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always is coming out this week on Netflix.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. I had forgotten that was a Netflix release. When I heard you say Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I was like, I hope that's not going to the theaters.
Yeah, no, that's going to Netflix.
Let's not do that.
Speaking of streaming services, WB and Discovery have merged to become Max.
Yo, market research teams kill me sometimes. I swear to God, like I feel like sometimes they can be very intricate in the way that they ask questions and the way that they collect data, and sometimes it can be very boneheaded. Like nobody is out here saying, "Oh, the HBO brand is so toxic. Man, I really would stream this service more than what I am now if it didn't have HBO in it." No one said that. You didn't come to that conclusion through reasonable means. You couldn't have, because nobody cared. Well, we didn't want to be marketed as just having premium content. We wanted to have a menu for a little bit of everything. And I was like, oh,
and so Max was the way to go.
Yeah.
A little unnecessary.
Yeah, because if there's one thing that really sells your product is to tell people that it's not premium and just kind of a little bit of everything. That's good salesmanship right there, man. That's how you get it done.
Terrible.
Hey, forget that special over there. Come get some of this normal. Yeah.
Oh man. The Boys season 4 is wrapped filming. So that's possibly going to
the return of Billy Butcher.
I would need to watch season 1, 2, and 3.
Just stop.
But maybe we can review it.
Just stop.
What?
No.
I haven't seen it.
Just stop.
I just haven't.
No, you haven't seen it. You're not going to see it. Just reserve.
We've already discussed the fact that I'm willing to catch up on stuff so that we can review.
But it's 3 seasons though,
yeah.
and then we have to do like a quick catch up to bring us up to speed. On where we are.
Sure. So we have to do a 1 episode recap of all of where we are, and then we do season 4. Just like we did with Power. Well, actually, we didn't even do a recap for Power.
It's just like you bloody fucking soups. Always trying to speed your way through life. Huh? You blokes always think you're gonna get over. You got to do the work, you dirty soup.
Don't call me a dirty soup. Don't do that.
It's my boy Billy Butcher.
If you want to review a show, they just
Butcher
filming. So I mean, I got plenty of time to catch up.
If you finish by the time that season 4 comes out, we will review The Boys.
Not only will I do that, but maybe I'll review each season up until that point in a little short.
Then I'll 100% do it.
I'm trying to catch up. So here's season 1 recap, season 2 recap, season 3 recap, and then we'll do season 4.
Sounds great. Let's see if it actually happens, folks.
It will. The trailer for The Continental and then a poster.
I'm so glad you brought this up. I did see that. I did see it. They didn't really give us any insight into what the show was about or who the main character. I mean, we can probably prophesize it's Winston and Winston and Sharon probably.
Yeah, hopefully. But then obviously you'll have a lot of characters coming in and out, and
we'll see a baby John Wick. We'll see John Wick as an adolescent.
A baby Yaga?
A baby Baba Yaga.
A baby Yaga?
Let's see him when he got picked up by Pitor and the Russians.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they have to go to the Continental for some reason. We get to see young John Wick.
Are we ready to move on to DC, or should I also mention that Harry Potter is having a reboot?
A reboot? Yeah, man. I don't know if I wanted them to reboot.
I mean, it's a series,
though. I don't know if I wanted them to reboot, though.
Yeah, it's a little much.
So like we're gonna tell the same stories over? Is that what we're gonna do, or why would
I think
we
it's
just
supposed
continue?
to include prelude material. Like it's supposed to cover. Well, it's supposed to cover a decade of time, which.
So it's not really a reboot. It's okay, I guess whatever. A continuation, more sequel, whatever. Yeah. I'm glad it's coming back. I just didn't want them to retcon what we had already seen.
Yeah,
that would be stupid.
Yeah,
that would be dumb.
Because then all that just goes to kind of.
But I'm definitely down for more Harry Potter for sure. Just like I'm down for more Lord of the Rings. Just like I was down for more Star Wars before they decided that franchise would never look the same again.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm here for it.
Okay, so I don't have a lot for DC and Marvel like together, but I got a couple things. DC has a full cast for Creature Commandos, which includes your boy James Gunn's brother as one of the characters. They got a Rick Flag. They got
Rick Flag Sr., right?
Yeah.
I think we talked about this. I thought you brought this up.
No, they only had, I think, Rick Flag casted
at
that point. But they've got a full cast now. So
one of James Gunn's million brothers.
Yeah, he's playing one of the characters. And so, yeah, no, they had a couple people last time I mentioned. Now they got a full cast. So
gotcha.
I guess maybe they're moving on to hopefully start filming this thing pretty soon.
Cool. That
was DC. Marvel. Okay, so Jonathan Majors is rumored to possibly be removed from Marvel.
It would be a mistake to do so.
They're thinking about it.
It would be a mistake to do so before you hear the full bevy of the facts. We just talked about, I think it was 2 weeks ago we brought up Justin Roiland being cleared of all charges.
Yep.
And Disney doesn't even need to look at that as an example. They should look inward and see how they no longer have a Pirates of the Caribbean franchise because they decided to fire Johnny Depp. Yeah. And what now would seem like was a colossal mistake, because the person that you did that in not to support or not even to be on their side, but the person that you chose in that conflict is one of the most hated people in America. She poo-pooed on someone's bed.
She did coke on the stand.
She threw a bottle at Johnny Depp and cut off his finger.
Yeah, she did do
and
that.
She cheated on him with James Franco. She is a social pariah, not Johnny Depp.
And Elon Musk, too.
Allegedly. They weren't able to prove that one. Oh, okay. But we seen her letting Franco up into her apartment in the middle of the night.
Jeez.
So, there's that.
Yeah.
But they definitely chose wrong, and I thought that they would maybe. I have been hearing the same rumblings that they could potentially just move on from Majors preemptively, which is why would you wait this amount of time, get this close to the trial actually happening, and then just pull the plug before you've heard anything, before anything has happened?
And then that would be a ruined investment. You've got so much kind of riding on the situation.
You got Loki season 2 coming out this fall.
Yeah.
What if Loki season 2 is a hit? What if it's a fucking hit? What if it's a smash? So you finally get something to pop on Disney Plus, and you think you're going to recast the actor? Blouse, I don't believe you. Or you may just be that dumb. You may be so dumb that you would fire this man before anything comes out. Somehow he's absolved. We get to Loki season 2, it pops, but you've already recasted him, so water, sea bridge. Work your way underneath.
It's clear that Marvel doesn't have that dog in them, because DC's letting Ezra Miller run around and do whatever the fuck he wants.
No. They got that dog in them. Because Kamala Khan's daddy still got work.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I just seen Kamala Khan's daddy in the Marvels trailer. Who has the worst allegations? He's being alleged to have sexually harassed a minor, a child.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about that.
Who got the worst allegations? And we're going to preemptively recast one while not doing the other. Y'all don't care nothing about being hypocrites. Y'all don't care nothing about being hypocrites.
They don't give a shit.
They don't give a fuck. They be out here like, yeah, man, we really got to do this because of that and this, that, and the third. And have somebody right here, right next to them, and be the situation be so identical and just move completely different. These companies are absolutely brazen in their dealings. They don't care.
That's so wild.
They don't care. That's why I do not hear their calls for social justice, because they are fake. They're money grab attempts. Yeah. And they're not even good money grab attempts, because you can't do it effectively.
Yeah.
Half-hearted attempts at appealing to people's social factors that don't even work.
Yeah.
All along, you're still stifling people. You're still pushing certain groups to the background, just in lieu of you having your own personal demographic propped to the forefront. If that was the case, you should be bold enough to come out and say it with your chest, like me and him do. I'd like to see more black men and black women in certain roles within Marvel. If you'd like to see more white women in prominent roles all over Disney, you should come out and say that with your chest, instead of using all BIPOC, black people, Asians, women, all these other social shields to push your own personal agenda.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, Marvel definitely said, y'all want T'Challa? No, we can't give y'all that.
Can't give y'all that.
Can't give y'all that.
Can't give y'all that.
Oh, don't worry about that. That's different.
Black man in trouble? Nah, get him out of here. Kamala Khan's daddy in trouble?
Watch Wakanda Forever. I'm not giving you T'Challa back, but you can watch Wakanda Forever. Harrison Ford? Oh, don't worry about that.
It's so amazingly inconsistent. You can't take it serious.
No, for sure.
You cannot take it serious. Because on one hand, it's all this talk about elevating people and changing the complexion of the room. And here is the complexion hasn't changed. The gender has.
Yeah.
Situations hasn't changed. Who's at the front leading the situation hasn't changed. Just the gender has. Mm-hmm. If that was your aim, you should just have the lady balls to come out and say it. That's what it was.
Facts. Last thing I got is apparently Blade is set to film in June, supposedly. And they've also got Mia Goth apparently cast in the movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, she seems to be somebody who's,
horror fans love her. Yeah, horror fans love her. I'm not going to lie. They got a decent cast so far. Delroy Lindo, Ray Fisher, or not Ray Fisher. The dude he was in Old.
Aaron Pierre.
There you go. Aaron Pierre. Mahershala, obviously. So, I mean, they've got some heavy hitters on here. And I'm still hearing that, your man's Mahershala is not being a pushover when it comes to how this movie is coming together. Which I believe, for all the people who are talking shit about it, I believe when it comes out, we will be thankful for it. Right? If anything has a chance, if any couple projects have a chance of being successful in the next couple of years in Marvel, is Deadpool, Blade, and Guardians. And those are the three movie-wise for Marvel that seem like they are pretty much set for success. The fan anticipation is still there. The people in charge of those projects have creative control and are able to keep Disney out of their business for the most part. Or at very least, they're being given the reins to kind of drive a little bit further when you're talking about Mahershala and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
So those are the projects that I have the most faith in, because they've shown to be the three where the lead actors involved, the directors, the creatives are most directly driving the narrative.
They care about it.
They're also taking forever to get here. So you better be working on something.
My thing is, if you're going to use somebody who's tied to like horror, like Mia Goth, then I would expect that you're going to play into that. Don't give me some campy version of horror when you brought me here as a Mia Goth fan.
We just don't need jokes in Blade. We don't. Yeah. There's no need for it. It doesn't have to be that type of film. It should not be that type of film. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We absolutely do not need jokes in Blade. For any reason, we don't need it. You can find a way to make this fit perfectly within your MCU narrative without joking it up. This is a character. This is a franchise that you will do permanent damage to, making it light.
Yep.
Making it relatable. It should be relatable to the point that you can feel the pain that the Daywalker feels from what he's lost and what he has become as a result of his loss. That's the relatability you should get from it. It shouldn't be relatable like, oh, this guy goes to work every day. shouldn't be relatable. Like he's got a nagging significant other, or he's got an annoying kid, or an annoying teenage kid or something like that. I'm like, no.
That space you're looking to fill with the jokes, fill that with action.
Action, killing, blood, murder.
Simple. Very simple.
Absolutely.
Any other stories that you were interested in?
I did want to talk about the reaction to the Star Wars announcement last week at Celebration and some of the speculation as to what happened. Because we were both priming for Kathleen Kennedy to have her swan song.
Mm-hmm.
So first off, it seems like, to me, the most popular thing that came out of Star Wars Celebration is Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Followed by, the prospective wrap-up movie from Dave Filoni with the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Boba Fett series.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that being the case, and obviously what was meant to be the biggest announcement that Rey is coming back, I don't think Star Wars is in a good way. I don't think they're in a good way at all. I don't think they have the favor of the fans. I don't think that... I would have to think that at a certain point, investors are going to catch wind of this and start backing out. They have to. They'd have to. If you were an investor for The Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi, if you gave money to Lucasfilm for them to produce this film, you have to be looking at the prospect of Rey returning for another installation of a Star Wars movie. Like, I don't know if I want to invest in this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think that is the best way to go. Not to mention Bob Iger himself, who, as of the beginning of the year when we had our first earnings call, was telling us that the Star Wars or Lucasfilm projects, the buck ends with you from now on. That's what we heard. No specifics on what was going to happen with Kathleen Kennedy, but it sure didn't seem like she was driving the ship. And according to Star Wars Celebration, she's more than driving the ship. She's created a whole new wing on that motherfucker, and she's driving right into the iceberg that sunk the Titanic.
Yikes.
But in any case, the speculation about what's going on in correlation to some of the stark directional turns in The Mandalorian, and these new announcements that Kathleen Kennedy was able to get control over what was happening in The Mandalorian. So mainly the decisions to remain or to put Grogu back with Din after we had one of the best moments in Disney Plus history, probably the single greatest moment in Disney Plus history, when Luke Skywalker comes and takes Grogu to start his Jedi training, and Din takes off his helmet and gives the tearful goodbye and all that other stuff. Like, that was probably the best single Disney Plus original moment to happen on that streaming service since it launched. But we undid that immediately in season or the Boba Fett series, where he's returned to Din Djarin and we're doing the whole buddy cop thing again. Also, the idea that Baby Yoda or Grogu is a 50-year-old sentient being who can't speak, keeping him cute and cuddly for merchandising purposes.
Yikes.
Kathleen Kennedy. And then obviously the idea that Grogu may meet up with Rey, combining the cash cow merchandise wise with what she's trying to force to us as the new titular character.
Nobody really wants.
Yeah, the ultimate Mary Sue. So what they're saying is that Bob Iger, or that not even just Bob Iger, right? So everybody who was within Lucasfilm was kind of blindsided by this, was blindsided by the announcements because all projects were supposed to be on hold. Kathleen Kennedy, again, this is all according to speculation, but according to this source, this person, and you can probably get more in-depth descriptions of this on any of your your local Star Wars leakers and rumor mill people, Overlord, or I know I've been seeing Cameron Parsha do his rounds. Midnight's Edge. You got who else? Obviously, Pro WDW Pro. All those guys. They're all saying the same thing essentially. Kathleen Kennedy announced these projects. The only people that knew that she was going to do so at Star Wars Celebration was her immediate circle. And she did so that, internal politics would kind of safeguard her from them walking it back or saying, no, these projects aren't going to happen. Apparently, she has another meeting coming up with Bob Iger where he wants her to provide some of the reaction data to what's going on, to what they announced and how people are reacting to the announcement that Rey is coming back. If that is the truth, Disney is truly done. If Kathleen Kennedy is out here announcing $1 billion projects on her own that Bob Iger is telling her like no on actively, we have reached full on House of the Dragon versus the House of the Green versus the Hightowers. We've reached full on levels of Game of Thrones within Disney.
Yikes.
Like, y'all thought Iger coming back and getting his position back from Bob Chapek was bad. It's a whole civil war happening at Disney right now. If that's the case, if that information checks out. I could not imagine, after losing the money that they've lost over the last couple of years, could look at the prospect of what has to be one of the biggest stains on Disney in terms of their acquisitions and what they've done with the sequel trilogy. Has to be. You bought that property and it has been devalued every year you've had it since. I take that back. Force Awakens comes out, the value went up slightly. Right? You basically gave us New Hope with someone who lost a lot less than Luke Skywalker, but it was good enough to get butts in seat and it made a Billy, right? So that first movie was fine. Everything after that, it is diminished every year you've put out content. You started to make up that difference a little bit with Mandalorian, and now apparently Din Djarin is not the Mandalorian when we're talking about Mandalorian anymore. It's Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan is the Mandalorian. And so now Mandalorian, they're pulling a full-on Nate Moore. Because as they are changing course in the middle of the process, they're trying to convince us that that's what it is the whole time. That it was always about the Mandalorians. We saw Boba Fett and we saw Din, and then we saw Grogu, and then we saw Bo-Katan. They're all Mandalorians.
Okay.
Wasn't about the Mandalorian. It wasn't the guy we saw kicking ass for 2 seasons, going on adventures with the little green guy. No, it's about Mandalorians. And Bo-Katan now is the main Mandalorian. So, and it's not even like I don't dislike Bo-Katan or as a character or the actress that plays her. But like, if this was meant to be Bo-Katan's story, we would have known that 2 seasons ago when we introduced the Mandalorian and it wasn't Bo-Katan. But, the Force is female and, yeah.
And they got their Lizzo cameo.
That's the way we're going. Yeah, which, didn't need to be there, but they're just trying to attract people to Star Wars who don't like Star Wars, who aren't going to stick around and watch Star Wars, who are not going to buy a Disney Plus a Disney Plus subscription so that they can go back and watch New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and Phantom Menace. They're not going to do it.
They will use your free trial and then be out.
Or they'll pirate the episode so they can watch Lizzo and Jack Black and go back to doing whatever the hell they were doing the prior week once it's over.
Yeah. Yep.
Stop trying to import greater pop culture into this thing that was huge on its own leg. Since the 70s, you're talking about a brand that has survived selling lunchboxes, toothbrushes, pajamas, any type of apparel, really. Infinite amount of merchandising power that you are flushing down the toilet. You could have sold Han Solo figures action figures from now until the end of time if you so choose. But now, since he's a neglectful father who never had the time for his son and pawned him off on his mom and his uncle, then, you know, maybe that's not such a hot sell anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I absolutely hate what's going on at Star Wars and Lucasfilm right now. It's an absolute travesty. And whatever dirt she's got or hold or whatever's protecting her from being removed, her being Kathleen Kennedy, bravo to her. Because that must be some type of leverage, man.
Yeah. Must
be some type of leverage. Give us your thoughts on the rumor mill stuff. What did you think about any of the news? DC, Marvel, Lucasfilm. Give us your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back next week for another Behind the Cape episode.
Absolutely. Make sure you check out our last video where we discussed Nate Moore needing to update his resume. And then make sure, obviously, you subscribe. We like to do this once a week. So we like to talk about everything Star Wars, Marvel, DC, John Wick, Power Rangers, Super Mario Brothers.